Blank pages are loud. They look quiet, but they're not. They say stuff like, don't mess this up, make it look good. And it's usually about that time that I start overthinking tools. Like magically the right pen would calm the page down. It stopped being about the blank page. It became more about me collecting tools. I don't remember who told me, but somebody told me it was GAS. But I think the GAS stands for Gear Acquisition Syndrome. It's when you collect way more gear than you actually use. Yeah, I guess I have GAS. So how did I get out of this pattern? It wasn't anything magical all of a sudden that happened that just had me stop buying tools. But I did come up with a system that works for me that helps me kind of get through it. Everything I use goes in this pouch. If I add a new tool, I have to take a tool out. Watercolors and a few other things don't fit in there, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But this pouch keeps me grounded. These are the things I reach for without even thinking. That's what makes the process work. Keeps me from overthinking it. Some tools keep me steady. Some tools slow me down. Some make a mess right when I need it. Those are the ones we're talking about. The first pens I have here are micron pens. The nice thing about microns is they're pendable, they're archival ink, they're waterproof, and yes, they dry out pretty fast if you keep the cap off. I like them because they can give you really good lines, and there's different thicknesses. I like it. They come in so many different sizes, and I kind of do the beginning and end spectrum. I use the thinner like 005. I use it for more fine detail. And then like this 12, I've actually started using a 10 lately, but right here on the side has the number, and it's got a thicker head on it. And I'll use that for filling in, or even use it for thick outlines, or even just thick lettering if I want something a little bit different. These just give me good, honest lines, simple, straightforward. Next, we'll move on to the fountain pens. Now, I just recently started using fountain pens over the last 6 months or so. So I don't have a bunch of different types of brands. I really enjoy the fountain pens. Probably the most pen that I use. I think I reach for them the most because they slow me down. I feel like when I use them, I don't rush. It's like I'm enjoying the moment. The ink flows when you do. I guess that's a good way to put it. I really like these. They write softer, they write smoother. You don't have to put a lot of pressure. They make me pay attention to the moment I'm trying to capture. They can be a little high maintenance. You have to clean them, you have to refill them. But I think that adds to using a fountain pen. I think that's the part of slowing down, not rushing. Takes a little bit getting used to. Once you do, I think it could turn into one of your favorite pens. Again, they're not perfect, but I think that's why I like them. I've used every kind of sketchbook, from dollar stores to big box stores, just pretty much anything you could find. And they've all worked until I started journaling with more intention. When you start mixing illustrations and urban sketching and all types of watercolor and different tools, quickly learn that all paper is not created equal. So here's the rule I go by now. Picture what you want your final page to look like. That includes, what kind of mediums you're going to use. You're going to use watercolor, you're going to use fountain pen, you're going to use all those. And then just go up a few levels in the quality of paper, and that's going to help you grow a little bit. That'll give you space. It's kind of like when I was drawing these pages, I wasn't sure if I was going to watercolor them or color them in with marker or how I wanted to do it. So what I did was went up a couple of levels in the paper. So I have that room that if I did want to watercolor, that I had the possibility. So that's why I've chosen the Stillman and Burns for what I like to use. They come in two different series. This is the beta series. It's textured, great for watercolor, able to build up layers, not go through to the next page. Plus the layers kind of just hold there and they spread out as you want it. You don't really have to force it, it does it on its own. Then you have the Zeta series. It's more in the darker blue. And the difference is it's more of a hot press, it's smooth. Still the same thickness as the beta series, the cold press, but it doesn't have all the tooth to it. So like if I'm doing a wash, I just want those different tones of colors, but not a lot of layers, then I reach for the Zeta one. I use the Zeta one probably the most because of the fountain pens. Just love how you still get that sound of the fountain pen running across the paper that just kind of gives you that good feeling to keep writing. But it's just a little smoother, the lines are a little cleaner. You know, it's one of those deals. Some days you want smooth, some days you want texture. Okay, let's talk about pencils. I don't use pencils a whole lot anymore. I guess you can say I'm kind of owning up to my mistakes. I still reach for them when I want to catch an idea really fast, or if I want to plan out something really detailed, maybe something based off a composition, or like when I'm journaling and still not trying to get to the page perfect, but something that detail that I'm not used to drawing. I might pencil it out a little bit, but I really like the mechanical ones. They seem to give me a better point. I don't have to sharpen them a lot and stuff. So I like the mechanical aspect of it. Being able just to click, get another piece of lead and keep on moving. The thing about pencils is planning is fine. I just try not to always live in that planning stage. So that's why sometimes more of the pens give me that, just get it going, just get it started. I've only been using watercolor less than a year, and I wish I would have started sooner. Buying the first set of watercolors was probably the worst part, because there is a million beginner sets out there. So what I suggest is just buy what you can afford at the time. At the time, I think I bought this little guy here. It was just to do little washes whenever I was drawing and stuff. And then I think somebody gave me this set. Just go with what you can afford at the time, and then just play around with it. Even with the brushes. Again, you don't have to get fancy with the brushes. Just pick out some brushes. But the cool thing about watercolor is, for me, is once I saw how the water and the color work together, at times being able to control it, and at times not being able to control it, there's something that fascinated me about it. So just get what you can afford, start working with it, start playing with it, and then just move your way up on what works for you and what you can afford. Then you can experiment with another level of colors and things. Like I went with the tubes and I used a ceramic palette and just put the colors in. And that way I could pick what colors I wanted and stuff. You will notice some richness in the colors when you start getting up into the next levels. But when you first start out, just get that feel of the watercolor. Feel how if you get too much water on the paper, how that color just races with that water across your page. Get used to those things. Get used to the brushes. Don't worry about fancy brushes. Again, my habit is not the cheapest, not the most expensive, kind of right in the middle. These work great for me. Don't get caught up in the brushes, because that's like pens. You'll buy every brush out there, and if you don't get started, you're just collecting. So that's my watercolors. I know it's not a lot of detail. I'm not going into specifics, but I want to kind of keep this kind of short, so we're not sitting here at the table for an hour. The eraser is the reset button. It's the Control Z of the pencil world. I actually like the plastic eraser. I get these little Again, I'm not pushing the brand, but I get these little Statler Mars plastic. They work for me because I don't get a lot of eraser bits on the paper. It seems to be nice and clean, keeps the paper clean. But I have noticed that if you're looking to watercolor something, be careful with erasing your pencil marks, because sometimes you can take too much of the texture off. So when you watercolor, it won't look as clean. There'll be a rough edge to it, or the color doesn't look right. It's not sitting on the texture. It's almost like you've messed the paper up with too much eraser. So be careful with that. But I like the plastic one because it just seems to, you don't get all the smudging and smearing with it and stuff. So if you do use pencil, I recommend something more than just the eraser on the tip of the pencil. And then we have a few extra things that I use. I use a few other different pens. This one's more of a brush pen. And then this is more of just a smooth uniball pen. I'll use these a lot to fill in lettering and stuff, just to make it easier. Also too, it doesn't take up as much ink. I love drawing and writing with the fountain pen, but I don't like coloring in with it. I feel like it widens the nib on it. So basically these are the extras that I kind of keep in my pouch, and they're just mainly for filling in, or if I just want to try something different. These would probably be the tools that, if I got a new tool, these would come out of the pouch or so. They're not at the top of the list. And then I have the fountain pen ink. This one is a carbon ink brand. This one's waterproof. This is what I fill the fountain pens up with. The fountain pens come with a cartridge. You just fill them up and reuse them. So if you're starting out, don't stress about the tools. Reach for that one tool. Open up to a page you're not afraid to mess up. Just start writing. I know this wasn't a lot of detail. For some it went slow, for some it went fast. But if you liked what you see and want to know a little bit more, I made a hand-drawn guide with all the tools I use, the ones I reach for. If you want, the link's down in the description. And if tools aren't the thing you're struggling with, maybe it's the place. I'll leave a link in the description for that video as well. Oh, and before you go, let me know the one tool you reach for the most.